Now we are going to have a presentation by JF Oberlin University. I would like to thanks to them and welcome for this session. Over to you from here.
Hi, good afternoon. Let's start in the presentation about JF Oberlin University from Tokyo, Japan. Okay. So, first of all, I'd like to show you promotion video. This is 8 minutes. Okay. これはもう流せばいいのか。It with English subtitle and sound is Japanese, but please watch in the English subtitle, right? How about you?
Yes, it's coming properly.
オーベリン学園では100年前の創立当初からすでに世界へ目を向けていました。オーベリン学園の創立者、清水康三。1917年に宣教師として中国へ渡った康三は、己を愛するごとく隣人をも愛せよと教えるキリスト教の趣旨のもと、国や地域を超えて門戸を開き、子どもたちが分け隔てなく学べる学校を設立しました。これがオーベリン学園の起源です。その後、康三はアメリカのオハイオ州にあるオベリンカレッジに入学。そこでフランス・アルサスの教育者であったジャン・フレデリック・オベリンの教育思想に出会います。康三はオベリンの提唱したラーニング&レイバーの思想に基づき、学事自人、学んだことを社会や人のために役立てるを学園のモットーに掲げます。これこそオーベリン学園が最も大切にしている教育の指針であり、その思想のもとに世界で活躍する人材を育て続けています。オーベリン大学は東京都で9番目に生まれた都市、町田市にあります。横浜に向かう街道は古くから絹の道と呼ばれ、交通の要衝、商都として繁栄してきました。近年では証券人口200万人の一大商業都市へと発展しています。また、町田市では福祉と教育に力を入れており、安心して暮らしていける行政サービスが充実しています。都心や神奈川にも出られる交通網が整っている町なので、便利で快適な学生生活を送ることができます。オーベリン大学にはおよそ1万人の学生が在籍しています。創立当初から掲げてきたキリスト教精神に基づく国際人の育成の理念をもとに世界で活躍できるグローバル人材の育成を目指す本学では、特定の専門分野だけではなく、学生一人一人の興味関心に沿って隣接領域の専門を幅広く深く学ぶことができるよう学群制を導入しています。学群の中にはリベラルアーツとプロフェッショナルアーツという2つの学びの環境があります。リベラルアーツにはさまざまな学問の基礎分野に触れながら、主専攻であるメジャーとそれとは別領域に属するマイナーを学ぶリベラルアーツ学群。プロフェッショナルアーツには将来のなりたい職業に必要な知識や技術の習得や国家資格取得などに結びつくグローバルコミュニケーション学群、ビジネスマネジメント学群、健康福祉学群、芸術文化学群、航空マネジメント学群の6学群の中に50を超える専門的な学びがあり、その幅広い学びの中で学生たちは目標や夢に向かって日々成長しています。リベラルアーツ学群では人文、社会、自然および統合の4領域のプログラムに30の専攻があり、学生は自分の興味や関心のある領域を軸に自分だけの学びをプログラムできます。グローバルコミュニケーション学群では 国際社会で活躍するために必要な語学を集中的に学び、国際的な視野を身につけるために留学を経験します。また、グループプロジェクトなどを通じてリーダーシップを養っていきます。ビジネスマネジメント学群では、観光、航空、流通、IT など、さまざまな分野で活躍できるよう、語学力、情報処理能力、経営の知識やノウハウを身につけます。企業人を講師に招いた授業や、海外、国内企業研修を利用して、社会で求められる実践力を磨くことができます。健康福祉学群では、福祉をはじめ、健康やメンタルサポートを含めた総合的な福祉教育を行います。児童福祉から老年福祉まで総合的に学び、健康・スポーツ科学を実践できる技術を身につけます。国家資格取得も力強くサポートしています。芸術文化学群では、芸術を理論と実技の双方から学びます。プロフェッショナルな現場に触れながら、研究・創作活動に取り組みます。市民参加型の芸術活動も展開し、芸術活動を通して自分と社会の関わりを見つけることもできます。航空マネジメント学群では、航空業界の要望に応え、4つの分野を柱に航空のスペシャリストを育成します。1つ目はパイロット、2つ目は航空管制、3つ目は航空機や構成部品の品質・技術管理を行う整備管理、4つ目に民営化する日本国内の空港の運営・経営に携わる空港マネジメントがあります。現在、オーベリン大学ではおよそ30の国と地域、750名を超える留学生が学んでいます。オーベリン大学には留学生をサポートし、国際交流を深めるためにインターナショナルキャンプをはじめとするさまざまなプログラムがあります。来日直後の留学生の不安を和らげ、日本での生活や大学での学習にスムーズに順応することができるよう、学習や生活の支援、国際交流イベントなどを行っています。留学生はプログラムへの参加を通して言葉や文化が全く違う人たちと交流し、共に成長し、友情を育むことができます。また、オービリン大学には2つの国際寮があり、世界各国から集まった留学生と日本人学生が共に生活を送っています。ハロウィンやクリスマスなどの季節の行事、運動会や日帰り旅行、留学生による語学講座、日本人学生による日本語講座などのイベントが開催されており、日常生活を送る中で国際感覚が養われる環境が整っています。見学の精神を礎に、より一層グローバルな教育環境が整う大学へ。現在、多くの大学で叫ばれているグローバル化は、日本人学生向けのグローバル教育を提供することに偏りがちです。一方、オービリン大学では、さまざまな国や地域の学生が共に学ぶという環境を提供しています。国籍や人種を超えて学んでほしい。創立者、清水康三のこの思いから生まれたオービリン学園。グローバルな精神は設立当初からの学園の個性であり、それは次の100年も変わることはありません。
I'd like to introduce myself. Who am I? My name is Ninomiya, Deputy Director of at the JF Oberlin University and affiliated schools. And I have a business management experience, cumulative 14 years in India. Okay. So let me explain my background. Give me the 6 minutes for this presentation. My first visit to India was on August 1985 when I was the student of J.F. Oberlin University. At that time, I checked in the currency rate in the US dollar versus the Indian rupee. At that time, in the one Indian rupee is 0.08 US dollar when I was visiting the India first time. But however, currently in the 0.01 US versus the one Indian rupee, and quite different from the just in the how many years back in the 21 and more than 30 years back. I'm very young, okay? And then I got in the job in the Sony Corporation, and I working in the Sony India Private Limited in 1960 to 2000, the 4 years. That time in the beginning of Sony business in India, and just in the, I remember in the, our first turnover is just in the 1 million US, 1996, I remember. However, now Sony India turnover more than Sony Japan's turnover. Now Sony India became in the, I think in the third biggest company in the world in the Sony group. It's a big, growth. And I remember when I was working for Sony India, we promoting to the pager. Do you know pager? I think nobody knows the pager. Only my generation the pager. Pager is we Japan say pocket bell, pocket bell. No answer, just in that we communicate to the some simple sound. That time in the already more than 20 years back. After that, I joined to the Nidec company. I have an India experience in 2 years. And Nidec is the biggest motor company in the world, in the #1 shares they are keeping. Now Nidec India started to they have a big factory to the Nimurana, Haryana, Haryana, what the state in the north, Rajasthan state. But I remember in the, we, looking for the summer place for factory in the near Pune too. But already this is 10 years back. And after that, I got in the, job in the country manager of India Zenlink Corporation for 7 years. Maybe you know the name Map My India. We are doing the business in the, not Zenlink. Name using to Map My India in the India. Map My India is the biggest map location company in the India. But however, when I got in the collaboration with Map My India, this was a very small company. Map My India and also introducing the concept of car navigation India firstly. We make into the not simple advertising. We are making to the some kind of education. What in the car navigation? How to use the car navigation? I remember. But now, and most of the drivers using to car navigation, regularly. But 11 years back, in the no like that. And then after that, I got in the Road to Pharma India Private Limited in the till last August. Then we introduced the consumer eye drop to India market because of hospital provided to the eye drop to the Indian people. But however, as a purpose of relax and taking less in this kind of purpose, and the Indian people did not use the eye drop. We introduced a new culture for India. Okay, we visited the office, and we visited the some demonstration to using the eye drop. We introduced the new habit for the office. Okay, we introduced a new culture to the India business market. Okay, and then that time I remember, and maybe the very well, Miss Tanika Bosai. She's Miss International 2018 represented by India. We using to the some her the promotion for to penetrate in the idol for road to pharmacy in India. Okay. So what I want to say, I know the India, but however, JF Oberlin, has not started, or India recruiting yet. That's why, and don't worry, even though in the Oberlin, he doesn't know the India, I know India very well. Also, I love India very much. Okay. Okay, next, and I'd like to show the some second promotion video, right? 2 minutes. Okay. Can you hear me?
Not the sound from the. Can you keep the video playing? Yeah. Yes.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Japanese theatre, like modern and ancient theatre.
How nice the people are.
日本这种日本话特别好，不带收的，然后定在手。我是参加呢一度嘅祭典啦。My Japanese has really improved. I came about an intermediate level, and then my last class, like I've kind of gone to advanced. 係咁樣好多活動俾我哋參加，除咗可以認識到日本文化之餘，都可以同其他國際嘅學生做到朋友咁樣。Next we have so many memory with all our class teachers, so cute. So many friends and going out, and I really love living in Ninomiya, and I just really like being here.
I can't forget when I stayed at my friend's house and their family was so nice to me. I've never received that kind of hospitality before.
山東我嘅入面係好cute. Like,
素晴らしい話。
楽しかったです。すごい。オブリン大学。
オブリン大学。
オブリン大学。オブリン大学。
あと、
買ってます。
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you. Again, the back to the presentation and give me about in the 10 minutes. For the briefly, I would like to introduce in the JF Oberlin University. And the number of students in there about in the 10,000. Actually in the later, English teacher and I explain to the detail. Just and I would like to explain brief in our JF Oberlin University. Okay. We have the 4 campuses in the Tokyo, Machida, Fuchinobe, Tama, Yotsuya, Shinjuku. And number of international students in the about in the 800. This is be careful in the before Corona and before COVID-19, COVID in the we have about 800 students from the 23 countries. Okay. Extended partnership with 190 institutes from 34 countries. This is a before Corona. Okay. And then we can, using the map for Tokyo and maybe in the different to understand the Tokyo location. This is Tokyo is a 2 crore population. Sorry, 1.2 crore in the population. And we, JF Oberlin have 4 campus. Main campus in the Machida, we have another 3 campus. Within each campus have each college and 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see in the promotion video detail, right? Data. And then academic situation in the our English program in the about in the 7%. This is before Corona. 7% of the total class. The main student in the from abroad in the first 3, or we are talking about. I'm talking about in the only for the long-term study. Short-term in the study is really different, but main mainly in the student from abroad in the firstly learning Japanese, and then step up to our regular course. But now we are trying to increase into the English program, English track in the as of now in the after within 5 years, 25% program we are aiming to the doing to class by English as of now. Okay, and then this is an academic sample. And spring semester and the fall semester we have for abroad students. And then this is for the not for student from India and other country in the student. This is that's why and just I would like to the insist on the other sample. Okay, later you can check in the detail. Okay, and then dormitory and just in the 2 minutes promotion video talking the through dormitory. We have in the dormitory, big dormitory in the near our Machida main school. Also, you can check in the, you can see in the detail fee of dormitory and the station dormitory as a video, later. This is a one room, A-type private room, and I think in the, for Indian people thinking about the very small, but Japanese apartment, technically and cleanness very or high level in the world. Okay, small but in the very efficiency. Equipment is working to the very well. 100% perfectly. Electricity is must continue. Okay, right. Water also same. Okay. Air condition also same. Okay. And the active cultural exchange also you can see in the detail in the video, right? Later. Okay. Exchange program also same. Okay. Okay, now you can watch in the promotion video, a little bit in the longer than the previous two one, about in the 20 minutes. Give me time.
Hi, thank you for tuning in today. Today we're going to talk about JF Oberlin University's study abroad program and the opportunities that are.
Can you hear?
Today I'm going to talk about three things.
Yes.
With the university, the College of Global Communications, and we'll have also an interview with international students. First, we'll be starting with the overview of JF Oberlin University. Though founded in 1936 by Reverend Yasushi Shimizu, JF Oberlin University's story begins in 1921 when he was doing missionary work in Beijing, China, and founded the Chinese Vocational and Grammar School for Girls. In 1924, Reverend Shimizu took time off from his mission to study at Oberlin College in the state of Ohio, where he learned about the educational philosophy of John Frederick Oberlin, which is learning and labor. Based on this idea, Reverend Shimizu chose JFOU's motto, learning in order to help others. And based on this idea, this university works hard to nurture students into becoming global citizens. Next, we'll talk about some facts. JF Oberlin University has about 9,000 students enrolled in undergraduate programs. And to support those students, there are about 1,000 faculty and staff members, including 149 international faculty. Based on a global network with 173 overseas partner schools, we send more than 700 students for study abroad programs and accept about the same number of international students here. This global initiative program was ranked 28th in the field of environment in the Japan University Rankings announced in March 2020. This ranking, based on 16 individual performance metrics, is designed to answer the questions that matter most to students and their families when making one of the most important decisions of their lives: who to trust with their education and the path that will ultimately lead to the rest of their lives. JF Oberlin University has 5 campuses and has 6 different tracks or colleges. This includes the College of Arts and Sciences, Health and Welfare, Aviation Management, Performing and Visual Arts, and Business Management. In order to tailor the learning environments to better suit the needs of each college, JFO is reorganizing and advancing resources at each campus so that the students can get the most out of their experience. There are 4 options for international students to choose from in accordance with their goals. The first option is the summer session. This is a 4-week intensive program in Tokyo. In the past, courses have included subjects related to Japanese business, culture, and language. Each course allows participants to have first-hand experience through not only theoretical study, but also experiential learning through field trips and guest lectures. At completion of each course, participants will be issued an official transcript. The second option is the Exchange and Study Abroad program, which is for international students from affiliated universities overseas and looking to learn about Japan and experience its culture for either a semester or a year. We have Japanese language courses ranging from elementary to advanced levels. In addition to language courses, there are classes on Japanese culture offered in English. The third option is called the Institute for Japanese Language and Culture, which is for international students who need to learn Japanese for further study in Japan. The last option is access to the undergrad program, which, as mentioned before, has 6 main colleges. The College of Arts and Sciences offers an integrated interdisciplinary education in the liberal arts. Because students can take both specialized classes and explore a broad range of fields, students typically declare a major late in their sophomore year, giving them ample time to explore and choose the path they wish to follow. In the 5 remaining colleges of professional arts, the program features more structures in the sequences of courses and emphasizes practical experience in order to ensure utmost preparedness upon graduation and entrance into the field of their choice. In order to improve the quality of education and implement their various educational principles, all undergraduate programs have been quick to introduce improvements, such as a system of academic advisors, a GPA system, and the option of early graduation. Next, I'm going to talk about tuition and expenses. Tuition varies for each undergraduate program, but the average cost is about $12,000 per year. For housing, if you choose to live in a dorm, the cost can range from $4,000 to $7,000 a year. If you choose to live in an apartment, monthly rent varies between $300 and $600. For life expenses, it costs approximately $9,000 per year. International students holding a student visa are allowed to work up to 28 hours per week during the semester and 8 hours a day during long vacations. Depending on how much they work, it is possible to earn between $900 and $1,100 per month. For the application, please visit our English website under the admissions tab and then click on the button for information about taking the entrance exam outside of Japan. Next, we will have 2 professors to discuss the College of Global Communications, Damon Brewster and Lisa Lee.
Hi, my name is Damon Brewster. I'm an associate professor at the College of Global Communication. I focus mainly on teaching English language.
My name is Lisa Inhong Li. I'm also an associate professor in the College of Global Communication. I teach content courses in English.
And today we're going to explain in a little bit more detail the program that we can offer international students. So the name of our college is the College of Global Communication, and it's got that word global in it. Of course, the world has become more global in so many ways, economically integrated. Travel has become easier, so geography has shrunk. And of course, we're one click away from talking to someone across the Pacific. But we still believe that it's important to live abroad and to study abroad to get a deep understanding of culture. And if you look at this slide, we think at the Global College of Communication that we can offer that deep understanding and the opportunity to learn. And we have 3 main characteristics here. First of all, intensive language. We have 3 language majors. The first one is English, and that's mostly for domestic Japanese students and international students too. We have a small but growing Chinese major program, Chinese language. And of course, we have Japanese language here too, with many international students. In these language courses, students take intensive language courses early on, and for 4 years, they improve their language skills. But on top of that, we also offer global studies courses, and these courses are taught in the target language. So if you are studying Japanese, you will learn content classes in Japanese. If you're learning English, you'll learn the content classes in English, in your second language. So we move from studying the language to studying in the language. And finally, all of our students have the opportunity to study abroad. So our English majors, for example, they go to places such as New Zealand, America, the UK, and our Chinese students have choices in mainland China. And of course, our Japanese major students are already studying abroad in Japan, but we also offer them the opportunity to study in Okinawa. So language, studying in your second language, and study abroad are some of the main features of our college. Let's take a closer look at what that means over 4 years. As you can see on the slide, we have on the left, first year, moving over to the 4th year. And as I've mentioned, at the beginning of your studies, whichever major you are in, English major, Chinese language or Japanese language, you'll focus mainly on bringing up the proficiency of your language skills. We have a mix of required classes and also elective classes. Then in the second year, you can see on the bottom row, that's the opportunity for you to study abroad. For example, if you're an English language major, or perhaps to study in Okinawa if you're a Japanese language major. And towards the end of your second year and the third year, when your language proficiency has increased to such a point where you're able to take content classes in your second language, you'll transition to take our global studies courses, mainly in the 3rd and 4th year, as you can see on the slide. And those content classes are broadly sciences or humanities, but also a focus on Japanese studies and Asian studies. Some of those credits you can take in your first language, but the majority is in your second language. So that's a broad outline of our 4-year structure of the curriculum here at the College of Global Communication. And next, Professor Lee is going to explain a little bit more about the Japanese language program for Japanese language majors.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the JLP, the Japanese language program at our college. So the JLP classes are 4-skill classes, and they use the integrated approach. And the characteristics, as you can see on the slide, is that classes are small and they are taught according to your level, and they are learner-centered. They encourage learners' autonomy, and so they work. The teachers work very closely with the students to set up their own goals, and you study the 4 language skills. You also study academic skills, but also there's emphasis on practical practices. Okay, so the core Japanese classes focus on the 4 language skills combining with knowledge, and then you have a wide variety of elective classes. So I'm going to talk just give you some examples about the elective classes. Yeah. So for example, there are culture-oriented courses such as Japanese pop culture, such as experiential activities. So these are language classes, but with a very specific focus on certain aspects of Japanese society, culture, and so on. Other courses are, for example, you can study languages and the world, which is really introduction course to social linguistics. Other courses are like introduction to teaching Japanese as a second language. So this is kind of like a applied linguistic class. Of course, yeah, you are learning the content, but also you are improving your Japanese language skill at the same time. So for the Japanese language major students, you are going to have to study academic classes in Japanese university setting, which means you have to study academic kind of classes such as academic reading and writing, and so on. I want to focus on one kind of class that's very unique to Oberlin, to JF Oberlin. This is the tutorial classes. Yeah. So these kind of tutorials are very, very interesting because they are closely monitored by the teacher. Basically, the students kind of set up your own language goals, and then you have a teacher helping you to examine these goals and helping you to acquire the skills and the content to reach toward your goals, and then to evaluate whether if the goals are set properly or not. So you can re-examine your goals and then proceed from that. So this kind of learning is very important because it encourages learner autonomy, independence, and also the bigger picture is that you're not just learning the Japanese language as an end itself. You are connecting this language with the outer, the bigger world, with the real world, with the real experience. So the Japanese major focuses on learning the language skills and then move you when you move into the 3rd and 4th year, then you can take content classes in Japanese. Yeah. So for example, you can in the 3rd year or 4th year, of course, after you reach the proficiency level, you can take classes in Japanese, such as Japanese culture, Japanese history, economy, and management. And then when you become a 4th year student, you want to think about what you want to do with the Japanese language you acquire. So you want to connect your studying with your life beyond the university. And so I think this to be a Japanese language major at our university gives you a very unique opportunity to learn this language, to learn this culture, to experience this culture, to then connect your knowledge with the world. And that's very, very important, I think.
Okay, so you just had a great overview there of the Japanese language program for Japanese language majors. And I'd just like to point out a few extra points, that all of our language programs are supported, not just in the classroom by the teachers, but by other things too. So on your slide, you can see 3 that we've highlighted here. First, the Center of Japanese Learning Resources. Great place to go and hang out. Lots of resources, as it says in the name. And this is really where students go and they take their tutorial studies and really kind of go beyond the classroom with their language studies. Of course, writing is a very important part of any undergraduate program, but particularly maybe for people studying Japanese. We have a writing support center for one-on-one tutorials or help with your writing reports in Japanese. And finally, we've got a wonderful program of class guests. And we have, as you can see on the slide, it says nearly 200 students, local Japanese students visiting the classroom of the students who are studying Japanese. And that's just a great way, again, to go beyond the classroom and beyond what the teachers tell you.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about how international JF Oberlin University is. The university has created a truly international learning environment. If you look at the slide, you can see we have a very diverse student body. Students coming from America, from Germany, from Vietnam, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, and many other countries are coming here and learning together with Japanese students. So every grade there are international students. Okay, I want to mention a couple of other things. So for example, you can stay at the international dormitory where Japanese students and international studies live together, they study together, they cook together, they organize all kinds of fun activities and events to experience culture. And also you learn from a diverse, what people come from diverse cultural and linguistic background. Yes, so that's very, very interesting. And also we have the International Center, which organizes all kinds of activities. For example, one important one is kind of like an international camp at a beautiful, beautiful location, which is Yamanakako. And so this is a event where students from different countries, they go there together, they experience the culture and the nature, and they become very good friends and so on and so forth. Yes, it's just really, really fun. And also, the International Center recruits a lot of Oberlin students to become global supporters. So these are students who help the international students to feel relaxed, to study at Oberlin, to feel at home, to become their conversation partners, so they can study together again, to experience Japanese culture together. It's just a really, really fantastic. The last thing I want to mention is we have a speaking space which is called the Brown Bag Cafe. At this cafe, students from this program, which is called the Exchange and Study Abroad program, they are the cafe masters. So basically, they work at this cafe and they play games, they have conversations, maybe they sing songs with ordinary Japanese students. So it's everything is in English, and they can have coffee at the same time. Yeah. So a lot of these examples tell you that JF Oberlin has created a really dynamic, truly international learning environment for you. So welcome. Next, we're going to have interview with international students. We have current exchange student from the University of Hawaii, Manoa, Mr. Jonathan Sanchez Cervantes. And we also have past exchange student from Union University, Hong Kong, and current administrative staff at JFOU, Mr. Tony Chan.
I chose to study abroad Japan because I've been fascinated by the culture and the language ever since I was little. And also, right now, I'm currently majoring in Japanese. By studying abroad here in Japan, I feel like it's going to help me in the long term because after I graduate, I want to be able to come back here in Japan and become an AOT, which stands for Assistant Language Teacher. In addition, I want to be able to transition in Japan more smoother and also to break down the language barrier.
Before I make a decision to go to JFOU, I did a lot of research about JFOU, and I found it provides exchange students a lot of opportunities to have some international exchange with the local student. For example, there's something called class guesto. When you're having some Japanese classes, the local students will come to the classroom and learn Japanese with you so that you can put the knowledge into practice by talking to them. And I think it's a very good system, I would say, because I can also make new friends with the class guests. Actually, I meet a lot of new friends with the class guests, and I even have some contact with them even I went back to my country. There is one called Learning Japanese by reading newspaper and listening to news. And I would say it is the most difficult courses that I have ever had in my life because they are almost a quiz every week and the workload is very heavy. I tried really hard, but I didn't get a good grade. But when I look back, I found it was a very good course because I find my Japanese speaking skill and listening skill get improved a lot because I have to make some presentation and I have to prepare quiz every week. Yeah, I found my Japanese ability get improved a lot. And the way Fujita Sensei taught us is so interesting. For example, the method of reading newspaper in Japan is very useful. There's a lot of fun, and because there's always some activities for you to take part in and have some fun with the local students here. To name one of my favorite activities in JFOU, it must be the one called Yamanakako Camp. Both Japanese students and exchange students will go to a place called Yamanakako. The view there is so impressive and beautiful because the place called Yamanakako is just so close to the Mount Fuji, and you can see the big Mount Fuji right there. And the activities, I have to say, were so well designed because by having those activities, you can make friends with other students very easily. And I also find JFOU is providing us a very exchange student friendly environment to us because there are always a lot of orientations before classes starts. So the staff will be there to solve our problem and tell us everything we need to know step by step. So when I was an exchange student, I feel so relaxed and can focus on my study without any stress.
Like mentioned earlier, I want to become an ALT here in Japan after I graduate. Firstly, it's because it's like the common way to get your foot in the door in Japan. Then afterwards, I want to be able to start some sort of business here in Japan. I don't know exactly what, but that's my future plan.
Honestly, I have never thought of working in Japan before I study here. But after being an exchange student here half a year, I found myself enjoying living here and decided to work here. I'm so grateful that I learned Japanese here because now I can make good use of my language skills to help out other exchange students all around the world. And that's why I'm in the international office at JFOU. And I'm looking forward to meeting all new faces around the world in the future. So if you watching this video decide to come to Oberlin after you watch this video, yeah, please let me know and say hi to me at the international office. See you there.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you have any questions, please email us and please make an appointment if you would like to set up a consultation. Thank you again. We hope to see you in Japan.
Okay, thank you very much. And you can see the next video regarding to the Yamanakako camp and the New Year event for us. Okay. Okay. アナザービデオで山中湖キャンプ。そう。
お口のね、舌とか歯の
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay. えーっと。Okay. よし。
Ninomiya-san, we have 3 minutes.
Okay,
left
all right, I
for the
understand.
presentation.
Quickly, I can make up. I can finish. All right. Okay, and last thing, give me 3 minutes, and I would like to, conclude this presentation. As a Pune, we Oberlin already have a 2 school, which already have an agreement, exchange student. One is in the Symbiosis International University, and then Pune University also. Right.
Okay.
And then Pune University. Already we have a agreement in the Symbiosis University and the Pune University. Okay. And then we have a, just a moment. I changed in the, sorry. Okay. Already we have a, person, and you can see the, this lady. Name is Miss Ami Modi. She's, I think, very famous in the, she got in the Schweitzer Prize in the this last year. She's living in Pune. She is in the honorary doctorate of JHOB University. She was teaching to the like she to English in the 1996 to 2000. I remember. Okay, and then she can care the student, who is living in Pune. Okay, behalf of JF Oberlin. Okay, so and just in the, I would like to conclude my presentation. JF Oberlin doesn't have a lot of experience in the India and the Pune, but however, we have with Abi Modi. Also, we have myself, Ninomiya, long experience in India, 14 years. Okay. So now we are preparing to the summer, summer session course 2012, as we mentioned to the video. Okay, and then we are also planning to next February, March in the summer seminar, especially in the student who's living in Pune. Okay, so please wait. Coming to the the information detail program. Till next February or March. Okay, don't worry, don't hesitate, and please relax, and we can take care of you. And then, so the very important point is India and the Indian people and the Japanese people have a common, word in the loving kindness. This is a very important thing in the, of course, and we have a, some point which Japan has and India doesn't have. India have and Japan doesn't have. IT, English, and problem solution. In India side, we have and the management in the, all the people house and the hospitality and the sports science, entertainment, class, and the classical music class we Japan have. We can have a synergy effect based on this living culture with the loving culture. I believe in that. Okay, please come to JF Oberlin, Japan, Tokyo. We are waiting for every student who is living in the Pune. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ninomiya-san.
Yes.
It's really good listening to you and knowing more about Oberlin University.
Thank you very
We
much.
hope that a lot of students will start moving there, and we will see good student exchange.
Yes, thank you very much. This is the first time presentation for Pune student and Pune people. And just this is the beginning. This is, I think this is only as a zero step, okay? We can split in the first step, second step in future.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
please contact this
Sure,
mail address,
definitely.
all right? Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you
yes,
very much.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Yes.